What's going on, people? It's your man the YB back once again. Big shout out to my doggy Mike N1299 for coming through and boosting up the coin. You best believe it. So, Hamza Sheeraz. We got an update from Turkey. Turkey came through doing what he does on Ring Magazine, chilling his base, giving us multiple angles of things which are not an X-ray. And to be honest, this hand don't look, I hate to say it, this hand don't look broken to me. It looks swollen, like he's hit it wrong. I don't know if it's broken or not. That's the truth. Here we go. Ring Magazine, Hamza Sheeraz shows his hand injury. See, he sustained early in his fight. He doesn't say Hamza Sheeraz shows his broken hand. And when you look at it, again, my eyes aren't X-rays. I'll make it big, pause. My eyes aren't X-rays, but it just looks swollen to me. Yeah. It's pretty swollen, I'm not going to lie. His wrist is swollen too. Boxing man will have to tell me. Is that a broken hand or not? I mean, it's definitely swollen. It probably definitely hurts. Listen. What hand is it? His left hand. It was his jab hand, actually, to be fair. Well, he's throwing it, though. He was throwing it. Listen, scrap all this rubbish. He was throwing it, to tell the truth. He was throwing it a whole bunch. What was happening was, it was getting slipped for fun. Ademez was mugging his jab off. So I can't sit here and say, it's not like he would. Listen, if he didn't throw it in the punch that showed he wasn't throwing his jab, he had a similar punch output to, what's his name? Ademez. Oops. He wasn't landing it. Yeah? And even if your hand is bust up, man, I think they've changed the thing, people. I think they've made it big on purpose in that one here. On Photoshop, you can do this thing where you can make things bulbous. Because wait a minute, look at his angle here. Look at his angle. I'm not being funny, man. One more time. Come on, man. This is the other angle they give us of his alleged broken hand. Oh, this is Moody. Can't even zoom in. Dead X. Twitter's dead for you. Proper dead. So you listen, his hand look okay to me. It's the point here. And listen, I'm not trying to beat up on Hamza, Bumza. But what he didn't do, and I've got some videos coming now, and I wasn't going to, honestly, if Hamza had come out and said, I lost that fight and I got a proper prayer from the judges and Turkey patting me, we wouldn't need to talk about it. But he's actually riding with it. He's saying, yeah, I got a draw and I'm not going to talk about the judges. Are you not? Are you not? That's good for you then. It's good for you, you're not going to talk about the judges that robbed for you. Yeah? And what this isn't, people, is an X-ray. That's what these pictures aren't. And usually, when someone, like, who was it? You know, when, I don't know, obviously you've got Fraser Clark, but usually when people have an injury, they come out and say, not necessarily pictures, I think they should put pictures out there more often, but not so much that. They come out and say, broken hand, right? This just says now, and this was days after, this was how many days? 4, 5, 26th, so Wednesday. So 4 or 5 days after his fought, he would have been straight in there with Turkey's top surgeon cats, right? You were telling me 4 days later, they're still talking about a hand injury. This, people, the very little they should have done, is come out and say, listen, I'm not sure what bones are called in your hands, but let's call it a metatarsal for argument's sake. Hamza chose his 4th metatarsal break. Bosh. They ain't got no details here, no deets. Hand injury. This to me looks like, so all in all considered, this looks to me like he's hit something wrong and his hand swelled up. It don't feel very nice. Not broken though. If it was broken, they'd say that. They'd say, listen, he broke his hand. Hand injury. AKA, you got a sore hand. Yeah? What do you want? Anyway. And I got some more videos. I got one more video coming on this Hamza topic. It's important to get to it because later in the week, we're going to cover some things today. We're going to cover Frank Warren sucking this. Oh, the judges were awful. The 118-110 judge for Ademez, he must have been blind. No, he was actually watching the fight. He was actually not bribed by Turkey's finest Saudi Arabian. What do we call them? Hookers don't sound right. I'm trying to find a better word than hookers. Concubines. Yeah? The other 2 judges were lured in by Turkey's Saudi Arabian finest concubines. Apes. Yeah? That's what they was done. So don't talk about Mr. 118, 110, he was with it. He came to actually watch what he came to use his eyes. and not use the thing hanging between his legs, which them other two man was. Them other two man were too focused on, oh, Turkey's got the primo concubines back in my hotel room. And they can't even focus on what they're watching because they're too busy trying to get their end off in a few hours back at the Turkey crib. No doubt about it. What was I going to say? Yeah, we got more and more video later in the week. You got TalkSport and you got Carl, the Saudi Froch. All these, listen, Carl 3 months ago would have been coming out. Maybe I'm blind, maybe, I don't know boxing. Carl would have been coming out saying this was a robbery, the Thailands have done it again. Wouldn't he? He'd be saying the Thailands did it again. I'm not having it. It was a robbery and it's disgraceful that a world champion should potentially lose his belt. Wow, I didn't even put my microphone here, man. Please don't say I've cuckolded myself, folks. Please no. Please no. So we're back with the microphone on point. This is the problem when you're running a ghetto operation, right? Because next man, proper man, their microphone's plugged in, right? Proper man, yeah, their microphone's just static. This one here, though, I've showed you before. This microphone here, this ghetto setup, we balancing it, folks. We balancing it on here, right? We balance it on the drawer. Yeah, this is the level of customization we got. That's mad, I forgot to put it in the right direction. It's hanging over there on the rest of the desk. It's very annoying. Anyway, listen. Bash. Where was we? Let's carry on. So we're talking about Carl the Cobra Froch, but what I don't like is Carl, yeah, he's a self-made man. And we're going to talk about this another day as well, but he's a self-made man. He should be putting the sport of boxing first. He doesn't need Turkey's extra little, maybe he don't, I don't know, but he says he don't. I don't need the money. Well, tell the truth then. Because these man been hella quiet. Carl Froch is now saying things like, well, some people are saying, see them ones there, the Ade bars. Oh, some people have said that they think it's the rock. When have you ever heard Carl Froch talk about what some people said? We can all do that. Well, it's not my opinion, but some people. Come on, people. That's dead. And this is one of your fellow... Adamez is one of your fellow kind of... Right? You should be protecting the integrity of the sport. Not going along to get along. Oh, Adamez got robbed, but it's okay, I'm alright. Yeah, it's okay. Never mind, boxers are working their whole life from the back arse of nowhere in the Dominican Republic to make it. And some 100% can just rob your ass. It's not right, man. Bottom line, it's not right. I can't do it. I couldn't sit there jockeying and jiving. Well, the whole broadcast was quiet, man. Not one person said. Not one person. And on that note, we're going to get to Hamza himself now. And this is the interview that turned me off Hamza. Let's get to it. But essentially, he don't own it. He's super duper political, happy to take the robbery win. Yeah? Happy to take the robbery win and get his hands out. Oh, my injury. Here we go.
Hamza Sheeraz, first world title shot, ends in a draw. What are the emotions right now?
Always, first and foremost, always like to thank the Almighty Allah for allowing me to be here. Thank my team, thank everyone. And yeah,
Thank Turkey. Yeah? Thank Turkey for them premium concubines he put in them judges' rooms. That's what you should be thanking. It's got nothing to do with your God. It's to do with Turkey himself. The God of boxing. Yeah? That's who saved your ass. 100%.
them things, and we'll go back to the drawing board and come back from it.
Lessons learned tonight?
Yeah, for sure. It was a good experience, you know what I mean? Very, very good experience. So yeah, like I said, we'll be back.
How did you see the fight? Did you think that you were going to get the decision at the end, like, draw fair? What did you think?
It was all up in the air, to be fair. It was all up in the air. The draw is what we got, and I'll take it.
So where did it go wrong tonight for you when you look back now?
I'll take a draw. I'll take the draw. I bet you fucking will, to be fair. I'd have took a draw too. And all I can say is, thank God, he didn't take the win. Because these men ain't got no shame. Like, I'd have to have shame. I'd have to have shame. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. Listen, if it's a 7-5 type fight, and it literally could have, you know what I mean, you can argue a whole bunch of swing rounds, that's one thing. But you literally got your head boxed off. And you know that. He knew that. He knew that in there. When was the last time you saw Hamza when he's punching these bums up? When was the last time you saw him in the corner saying, oh, how am I doing? How am I doing? You don't need to ask that. People, when you're dominating a spar, or whatever fight, if you're really hard, you don't need to ask your corner how I'm doing. You know how you're doing. Because you would have shits. You punch his head off. Yeah, when he's punching all these bums' heads off, Number one, you don't hear his team say, you need to go now. Number two, you don't hear him asking questions. He's doing his job. Now all of a sudden, he's all questionable and that. And it's also important to note, Duke McKenzie pointed out, which is true, in the corner, Hamza never mentions his hand. So you either have to believe he's a second coming of Muhammad Ahmad, Bruce Lee, where he's just so hard. Normally fighters say, my hand's gone. What should I do, coach? You want to get your coach's opinion. He didn't mention his hand until after the fight. So either he's a warrior and he just wanted to brave it out and then bring his hands out, oh, my hands are swollen. Well, there was nothing really that wrong. And from what I saw, you can't sit here and say he wasn't throwing his hands. He threw 600 punches, people. Which is 50 shots a round. Is that right? Yeah, 50 shots a round. So he ran in that bad. What was bad was he was slipping all of them, which turned you off, and you thought, oh, he's not standing there like a big stiff Ammo Williams. Oh, why won't you stand there and let me pop you in the mouth with my 17-foot jab? That's what was really the problem. He didn't really like it, that someone was in there with supreme skills. And they want this, Hamza's great. If you got a big stiff idiot in there, yeah, they'll stand there. Dong, dong, dong. If you got a big stiff, leaky deaky idiot in there, they'll stand there like this, ready for it, like AJ was us to was ready to take it. That's the truth. What's the whole of Hamza's career? There's a whole bunch that they've lined up so many big, stiff, leaky deaky idiots you wouldn't believe. And he's punched them right in their mouth. That's what he's done. The first guy that turns up to win, the first guy that turns up with some skills, he's out of ideas, is what we saw. Nothing to do with his hands. And now I'm happy to take the draw. Come on, tell the truth, man. A boxer knows when he's lost a 10-2 fight. I'll never believe otherwise. I'm sorry. I'll never believe otherwise. Ever. That a man comes out of a 10-2 losing fight and takes a draw and doesn't know. He knows. He knows.
That's a question you have to ask Ricky, because I haven't watched the fight back. So you can ask Ricky or ask whoever else. But as for now, I'm just going to, recoup and get back to the drawing board.
But you also did plenty right. Yeah. You also showed that you belong at this level. You didn't get the win tonight, but that's an elite...
Dev, man! Dev sucking him off. Oh, Bleeble, I ain't being funny, yeah? I can't... After what I saw, that to me looked like almost... I'd say it was... when Eubank fought Groves? And people were laughing at him saying, he's not world level. This was the same equivalent. In fact, I think Eubank was more competitive with Groves than he was with... Adamez. And people have always slagged off Eubank. He's not world class. He's always lost at world class. Like I said, this cat here did a lot worse. Eubank did a lot better with Groves than Hamza did with Adamez. So if you're going to slag off Eubank for being useless, you have to do the same here. You can't say, he competed. He didn't. At all. Hamza's known as the pressure guy. He was running the whole night. Make that make sense. Oops.
Middleweight, you're right there with him.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That you belong at this level. You didn't get the win tonight, but that's an elite middleweight. Yeah. You're right there with him.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You're right there with him, minus 8 rounds, Dev. Yeah, you was. Yeah, you was really winning. Yeah, you was right there with him, minus about 8 rounds. Stop playing.
Ideally, I wanted to win, but it's one of them things, isn't it? It's one of them things. But yeah, so a lot to learn from it, and
ideally I wanted to win. It's almost like it's an out of body experience, and that's what will happen when you've been put in there with stiffs, and you get in there with someone who's really with it. You'll feel like, whoa, an out of body experience. And what did he say again? Wait a minute.
For sure. Ideally, I wanted to win, but
ideally, like nothing to do with me, but ideally, I'd like to have won. You had a whole bunch of rounds in there to get stuck in, but he knows now. He after a good schooling, okay, yeah. It would have been ideal to win, but I didn't really want that. I didn't want to do what it actually took to win. So it would have been ideal, but if you know what I'm saying, if it involves my actual getting at itness, I don't want nothing to do with it. Ideally, if I could have not robbed a win, I'd take it. But if I have to fight for it, I don't want nothing to do with it.
It's one of them things, isn't it? It's one of them things. But yeah, so a lot to learn from it, and
you got that right, man. You schooled your ass.
A hell of an experience.
What was the fight like in there? Because it felt like a very physical, tough fight.
Yeah, no, it was, as you can see.
So he knows. He felt them shots. Physical fight. He was... I like the guy. He's all right. He was like a deer in headlights in there. And this is the problem when we see it with Ben Whittaker. You put him in there with all these stifflers. And they get in there with someone half alive. Well, Adamez is more than half alive, but you get the point. And it all unwinds. Same as AJ. Gets bopped once and he falls apart. Matchroom, Mandinga room hype job.
Listen, I think I showed I had a good chin as well in there. It wasn't ideal to show it, but I showed that I had a good chin. Like I said, I'll be back, man. I'll be back. I've come from nothing. I'm here now, and I'll be back.
Anyway, let's get to Frank Warren now.
Sounds like you're almost like treating it like a loss, but like...
Dev, it was a loss. You got that right. It was a loss. You got punched up. That's why he's all... Oh, it was... He knows what happened. Let's come at Hamza and say, man, hey, man, I got boxed up. I got a lot to learn. I thank Adamez for schooling me the way he did, because he could have knocked my ass out if he really... You know what I mean? If I'd have stood there and knocked my ass out. So I'm grateful that he took me through a 12-round schooling and didn't just clip my ass, because that would have been embarrassing. He nursed me. He did what... The great teachers, yeah, they don't just... You teach by showing. And Adamez showed him the game for a sustained period of time, put him through a PhD essentially, and he failed. Listen, Hamza failed the PhD, but Adamez nonetheless put him through it. Yeah, put him right the way through it. Bosh. Anyway, let's get to Frank Warren's corny ass. Yeah, look at this guy shilling now. Watch.
I mean, what a night so far, Frank, already, and we're still obviously getting ourselves ready for the main event, both of them, as they say. But I want to reflect on one thing before we get there. Hamza, the performance tonight, obviously called a draw overall. Just tell me your reflections and your thoughts.
Well, he broke his hand. He's got a busted hand. You could see in the fight something weren't quite right. You won't be able to land power shots with your right hand. But
he wasn't allowed. Wait a minute. He wasn't able to land power shots with the right hand. This is left hand, Frank. So, is it an inverted camera? That's his left hand that's allegedly bad. So his right hand, nothing wrong with it. You can argue, well, he couldn't set it up and whatever. He was throwing all of it. I saw him hit Adamez a few times with the right hand. So make your mind up. And the commentators were sucking him off.
yeah, I think that's a fair reflection of the fight, to be quite honest. I was one of the judges. I don't know where he was at with the scoring, but
You're right. The 114, 113, he was proper off his head. Yeah, not the one you're talking about. The 118, 110. He was bang on it. Bang on it.
look, he's 23 years of age. I think he's struggling at the weight as well, by the way. I was looking at him in that fight and looked at the weight. He may move up, I'm not sure yet. We'll have a discussion about that.
So we've heard about the hand, the weight, and I do think the weight thing's an issue, but that wasn't... You must have known that. Well, you should have known that before. He's no way a 160 pounder. He should be at 175, really. To be honest, it is size. He should never be at 160. But don't come bringing them excuses now, because either he won or he didn't. Right? Either it was a legitimate draw, and you say, well, we got a draw and it is what it is, or he broke his hand and he's drained at the weight. Just throwing things at the wall, man. You got boxed up. Is the easier thing to say. You know what? We got a good old PhD schooling and sent on our way. Yeah, packing our bags with our tail between our legs. That's the truth of the situation. Yeah, he boxed you up so bad you don't even want to be at that weight class no more. That's the truth, right? Stop playing. You don't want to be here no more. Ow. I think it's time to move up, Frank, because my head hurts. That's what Hamza was like in the corner. I'm not going to lie to you. That's what he was like in the change room. That's a leaked video. Rubbing his head. Ow, Frank. Ow. Ow, I don't like 160 no more. It's mad.
But look, we could maybe even get a rematch. Wait and see what happens. But he's done well. I mean, moving up, coming through, winning in with...
It'll never be a rematch. Never be. I'll be... People, I'm 99% sure they'll never do a rematch. Definitely not next. Maybe when Adamez is 50 years old, they might dig him up. That's what they might do. Because Hamza will be like, when Adamez is 50, Hamza will be like 35. So they might dig him up then. Never do it next. Never. I'm confident of that. Never.
With a good fighter, and a lot of people didn't fancy him, and I think he's done a good account himself, especially as I said, with a busted hand.
Speaking to him afterwards, he spoke about the experience and the learning curve and his own mind, what he could have done better. So that tells me already where his mentality is. But I want to look forward really quickly, because I know that we've got a massive card right now.
Alright people, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like for the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about this. Some people stop it.